everybody?
Welcome to Annie and Jay Dialogue.
I'm Jay.
Annie. Well, okay. Yes, you are.
I'm Jay.
This is Jay, and I'm Annie.
That's Annie. And we're Annie and Jay Die a Lot, the channel where you come to see us die a lot.
That's what we do.
We're not that good at games, you know. Sometimes we get on a good run, but, you know, we have fun dying, so it's cool.
Games are meant to have fun, right? And while we're having fun, or in between having fun playing games, we like to check out lots of other things. As you know, every Saturday it's interview day. We check out different streamers and different content creators to share with all you all, what we like to watch in between gaming. And this week, we're going with Cape Joel. Cape Joel is here.
Welcome, Cape Joel.
What's up? Yeah, he keeps us informed on all of our comic book news. There are so many comics out there, and Jay and I are pretty obsessed. But I have neither the time nor the money to keep up with all of them. And so I have to find people that I trust to give me my comic news. Trust that they share similar interests in comic books. And so I check in with Cape Joel weekly, sometimes daily. And he keeps me up to date. And, we love you, Joel. We love you so much. So you guys, this is Joel.
Well, we appreciate you being on. I mean, I've been a follower of you and the 3,000 shows you do. I mean, you're everywhere. You recently became a partner on Twitch.
Hey.
Congratulations.
It's okay.
But also, you do the weekly pull, comic multiverse, Elseworlds exchange, and I'm just trying to go off the top of my head, so I'm sure I'm going to miss some things, but
team.
Wait just a sec. Uni,
Oh.
welcome. But you can't
Uni
hear
said
Jim
you
on the screen.
couldn't hear Joel. Oh,
Hang
no.
on. Let's fix
Uh-oh.
this.
Oh, I think I just fixed it.
Did you fix it, Jay?
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, let us know if you heard that, Uni.
Oh, Uni.
Because I had desktop muted in OBS, so I think that might be the problem.
OBS strikes again.
Yes, it does.
But this time it may have been our fault.
Yeah. I'd rather it be my fault than the program's fault. That's when it gets really frustrating. I can go, oh, forgot to unclick that button.
How's it sounding, guys? Can you hear Joel?
Testing. Microphone check 1 2. Holler if you hear me.
Well, you know, got that delay, so you always have to wait on the chat to tell you what's up.
Yeah, that's always the way.
Yeah. What's happening, Badfish? How you doing tonight? Well, I'm not sure. If you hear Joel, let us know. We're gonna
Please
launch
do.
back into this, oh, you know what? I also have the power to check out YouTube, don't I? Let's see. Let us see.
I still think it was the having the desktop muted was what was causing it. Because now when you talk, I see it move on the audio bar.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't, because it was muted, because that's my fault.
It's all your fault,
Right.
Jay. It's all your fault.
Of course it is.
What are you doing, Jay?
we even dye audio here at Annie Die a Lot.
That's how we do.
Right before the show, I was setting up the PS4 to run through the computer, and I called Joel, and I can't hear him, he can't hear me, and of course it's all on my side with the new PS4 setup.
Very on theme. Everything is very on theme.
Yes. Especially after the interview on Monday that we did real quick with no audio on our side.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sweet.
Oh,
We
good.
are good. We are good.
All right.
Let's-
And let me just double check OBS, make sure I got you back up on the screen there. Yeah, all right. And we're a go.
We can do
Nice.
it. Si se puede. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Welcome to the show. I guess you've heard us the whole time, but not Joel. We're hanging out with Joel, our favorite
Hello.
comic book commentator.
Aw, thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
thank you for stopping by.
Oh, happy to do it.
Oh, we're so happy you're here.
And I put Joel's links in the chat, guys. You guys on Twitch, you got his Twitch link. You guys on YouTube got his YouTube link. So y'all go subscribe and follow and jump across on the other platforms and check him out. So
that's right. One of the goals
I'm kind of everywhere.
Yeah, and one of the things we want to do is cross communities from Twitch, from Mixer, from Periscope eventually. I think we've got some Periscope, huh? Everybody. We want everyone to meet other content creators that they may not necessarily come across. So everybody, check out Joel. He's awesome.
It's a very good mission statement. I think we can all get behind that.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I found so many awesome communities doing this. Especially in the gaming communities, there's always chats going on, and people play games together and develop relationships outside of just the stream, and I think it's awesome. And I want to introduce other people from all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tonight we want to introduce our community to you, to Cape Joel.
Oh.
This is Cape Joel, everybody.
now on top of all the shows I mentioned earlier, which he did tell me before y'all got his audio that he thinks that I got most of that list down, but he also does movie reviews and even involved in some of those shows are movie reviews, comic book reviews. He does individual comic book reviews. So that's
my bread and butter.
If you need to know comic book stuff, you go see Cape Joel.
He is our comic
Oh, well, thank you.
But
I'll try and help you out best I can.
I have let's see. D-Train, it looks like he subbed to you, so.
I did. I saw that. Thank you, D-Train. I appreciate that.
This is Joel. Thanks for stopping by, D-Train. D-Train is another content creator. He streams PUBG a lot. Lots of video games. Yeah.
Very nice.
He's awesome. So, Joel, what got you into comic books, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, I don't mind at all. In fact, I always enjoy telling this story. I don't think there's been a time in my life where I haven't been, really enraptured with comic books. I, of course, grew up, in the golden age of TV animation, watching all the wonderful animated series. That got me in the shops. That got me reading the books. And then, 20-odd years later or so, I managed to roll that into a career somehow, some way, where I could actually sort of get paid to do this, which is always nice.
Yes, that's awesome. Let's see. What's your favorite comic book series of them all?
Of them all, well, I guess my favorite hero always goes back to Green Arrow. I've always loved, his style, his aesthetic. I love the fact that he's basically every bit the playboy billionaire that Batman pretends to be. The only difference is he actually has some fun with it, is the thing. Green Arrow is Batman, but having fun with being a hero, which is always nice. I love his supporting cast. I love the social commentary that the book often takes, which is something it's a bit of an art form in comics. Some people do it really well. Some people don't do it nearly as well. Really love what Benjamin Percy, is doing at the moment with the book. This week was annual week, so we got less books, but the books he got were a little bit longer and a little bit more expensive. Green Arrow, he had a Christmas special this week, and I always like it when comic books go the Christmas special route. So that's definitely what I'm enjoying at the moment.
Nice. So Green Arrow is your favorite hero. Who's your favorite villain?
Ooh, favorite villain, that's rough. As weird as it sounds, I think my favorite villain might actually be Bane, but I don't like him because I think he's great or anything. I like him in kind of like a Rocky underdog prize fighter kind of way, where it's like he peaked so early in his career when he broke Batman's back, and it's all been kind of downhill for him since. He's never quite recaptured that moment, which is why I especially love him when Gail Simone writes him in Secret Six as kind of like a misunderstood anti-hero who's, down on his luck and everything and is just trying to recapture that former glory. We haven't seen that version in a bit, probably not since Dark Knight Rises, but I liked the version of Bane who thought he kind of sucked but wanted to be better.
I like it.
Now, since you did talk about Green Arrow, how do you feel about how they've used him in the CW verse?
See, it's but everyone assumes when I say, "Oh, I love Green Arrow," they're like, "Oh, you must love the TV
No,
show,
no.
right? You
Well,
must."
that's the thing. I know there's differences, and someone that
Massive
loves it in
differences.
print may not love it when they bring it to live action. So,
I don't love it in TV. I don't like the fact that he kills. I don't like the fact that he's so morose for so many seasons. I don't like the fact that Black Canary is not his love interest. I know some people love Arrow. I know for a lot of people it was their gateway into superheroes, and I cannot begrudge them that. But personally, I prefer Flash on CW more. And also, Legends got way better this season when they turned it into a comedy.
yes,
Yes, it's
yes,
been
I
so great
agree.
this season.
We are big fans of both. We love the crossover this week. That was
That was wonderful.
I
It was
think it's
so
the
much
best
fun.
DC movie I've seen this year.
It really kind of was, and
Well,
they cut it
Wonder
like a
Woman
movie.
still beats it, but it's,
Wonder Woman is right up there, but yeah, I totally get definitely the best team movie of the year. That's for sure.
Oh, it was great. I loved it so much. I'm not a
They,
big Arrow fan as far as the show goes either. I fall asleep.
yeah, I'll say this: I liked him more in Earth X, and I liked him more in the context of this crossover
Yes.
than I've liked him his own thing in a long time.
well,
Yes.
I didn't know he could be happy on TV till I saw Earth X.
It was
See,
the
he's
first
so
time, and I enjoyed it so much. They do more of that.
For real,
I might watch
for
it
real.
more. I might watch it more.
And all the actors got to pull double duty in that crossover too, because they
Oh,
got to
that
play
was
evil
so much
of
fun.
themselves.
Oh,
I really like that, and they probably saved a bundle too, not having to hire new actors, just get
Right.
everyone.
right. Oh,
they had a big enough team already.
They really did.
They
And
really
everyone felt useful and everyone got something to do. Even the minor characters got stuff to do.
Well, well, the only thing was when they sent Kid Flash. Hey, you go babysit for a little while. We don't need you. You can always use another speedster.
For real. And again, and I don't even think that was like a writing thing. Like I think that that actor is kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out at the moment, and they're not
Yeah.
sure what they're gonna do with him.
Yeah, so like, well, we'll just write you in. Just this one scene, and then
There you go, just the one.
fine. You were here. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by.
Contractually obligated appearance. You met it.
Exactly. Exactly. Excuse me. Excuse me. Well, let's see. Well, I really enjoy all those TV shows. I also have enjoyed watching all the movies this year. One just
It's been a
came
really
out.
solid year.
Yeah. Justice League is the most recent.
Yeah.
Any thoughts there? You are a
Uh,
comic book man. How do you feel it translated from comic book to film there?
I have a lot of complicated feelings regarding Justice League and this cycle of DC movies. I think everyone does. I thought Justice League was perfectly adequate. I thought it got the job done. I thought it kind of hit a couple potholes along the way. It also didn't make near the money they wanted it to make, which is a big deal. I hope they learn from this in the future, and I hope that this kind of like serves as an example to them to be like, okay, people liked this, they didn't like this. Maybe if we change just enough, maybe we can get more butts in seats next time.
Yeah, yeah. What was your favorite movie this past year?
Oh man, I was thinking about that because Sal and I over on Elseworlds Exchange we're going to be doing our superhero movie power ranking soon, and it's hard to choose because like every one of the three studios who are in the superhero movie making game right now, they all had some of their strongest work this year. You had Guardians too, you had Wonder Woman, you had Logan. And I love the three of those for three completely different reasons, and it's hard to pick one.
Yes,
Those
I agree.
I don't
My
even
my
know.
top 10 is only going to have about 20 movies in it. So.
Right?
Yeah, not even bad. And then there's the ones that people forget. Lego Batman came out this year, and Lego Batman was wonderful and
Yes.
charming and funny. I feel too many people are gonna forget that one when they do their list this year.
It was great. It was great.
Hmm.
Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. There's a lot of good movies coming out right now.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of
Absolutely.
about to come out. Do you have a most anticipated of 2018?
2018. Well, I mean, it's probably the first one we're gonna get right out of the gate. But Black Panther. I was super excited for Black Panther before. I'm even more excited for Black Panther now that we've seen the Infinity War trailer, and they make a very solid point in that trailer, being like, "Hey, if you're on the fence about Black Panther, don't be on the fence because he's going to be super important, and like everything we set up in that movie is going to be important. Go see it."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah,
Not
man, I want it. I wish they would just call me on Christmas and say they just released the next 3 Marvel movies. I would watch them 10 times in a row all day long. It wouldn't matter.
And they could do it too. They could totally just be like, "Hey, guess what, everyone? And there's a new movie out," and everyone would drop what they were doing to go see it.
right?
I would.
Oh,
I know it's not superhero related, but actually probably the next movie this year before it's over that I'm interested to see is The Disaster Artist with James Franco, which started out as being like, hey, it's another Seth Rogen, James Franco comedy. Now it's getting like award buzz. Everyone's saying that it's like, they've even recut the trailers to be like, oh, this could actually be something of an Oscar contender. Apparently his performance is just that good.
yeah, I was just reading about it right before we started the stream, and I really want to see it. It's supposed to be one of his most focused works. I guess usually when he makes a movie, he's doing a whole bunch of projects, and this is the first time he canceled everything just to work on this, and apparently it paid off. So
yeah,
I'm
really excited.
I'm super excited for this.
Well, and it's a good start to multiple man news. So.
Yes, that's right. I couldn't believe that was the thing where it's like James Franco wants to be multiple man. I'm like, really? Okay.
I'm down if every single one of those multiple men's best friend is Seth Rogen.
Please, that's totally fun. Or like he's multiple man, but like every version of him is just a different version of James Franco from another movie.
Yes. Oh.
So you got Harry Osborn in there. You got the guy from Pineapple Express.
Of course.
You got his version from 127 Hours, so it's just him trapped under a rock for the whole movie.
Oh man, all the different James Francos. I could watch
So
that.
James Franco from Spider-Man 3 when he's really weird. Pie.
Have a whole council of Francos.
Oh, the Council of Francos. Now that's a money-making idea right there.
I think we've hit it. Marvel, call us.
I'm calling
We have the ideas
Seth
here.
Rogen and see if we can get this together.
We got some ideas to pitch, Mr. Rogen. So, what made you decide that you wanted to become a content creator?
That's, it's something I've thought of a lot, that question. And I mean, I guess, I guess to be completely unpretentious about it, I guess I thought I had something to say and that I thought people would care if I put it out online. And I kind of started, my internet career at a time when, a lot of people like me were gaining a lot of traction on the internet, people who had seen the same movies and read the same books and listened to the same music and had like a very similar frame of reference. And it was kind of well, hell, if they can do it, I can do it too, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what it came from.
That's super awesome. Was there anyone or any groups that inspired you?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who inspire me. Some are still working today online, some are not. I really liked well, basically everyone who was on The Escapist at a point there back when they had a real golden lineup, Movie Bob, Jim Sterling, Gavin, all these other people who made like content that was really clearly near and dear to them and talking about stuff they loved and everything. Spill, I don't know if people remember Spill. That was like a movie podcast way back when. They used to have a content sharing thing with IGN. That was when I first found them. They've since splintered off into about a dozen different side groups, but the main two, Corey and Martin, they do a Double Toasted now, if you've ever seen that. So I've been a fan of their work forever. And it's just this idea that you can be funny and insightful and you can hang out with your friends and you can do it for a living. I'm like, well, who doesn't want that?
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one of the things that got us into it was the hang out with your friends aspect.
Yeah,
I mean,
we love
at least
it.
this way I can play a game. I can see what you're typing, or you can come in my Discord and we can talk while I'm playing. I mean, some of my IRL friends just don't understand how fun gaming can be.
It's true.
Yeah. But it's great. I mean, 6 months ago, I didn't play games online at all, and we started to watch a few other gaming streamers, and just their communities and their willingness to play with you. I started playing, and now I'm kind of addicted. I love it. It's so much fun. You just get to know people really well through games.
Oh, for sure.
It's great. I love it. Speaking of games, should we get into some?
Yeah.
Keep
Sure.
asking questions during it.
We can do that. Let's see here. I'm gonna try something with OBS here, and then maybe keep Joel up on the screen with us when I switch over to gaming.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
But
That would
first,
be
I've got to
awesome.
minimize them.
And guys, today we are playing Injustice 2 on PS4. So maybe we'll get some people on later.
If you would hand me that controller.
I can do that.
Let's hope the PlayStation doesn't try to take over all the audio again.
Yes.
That's the hope.
Oh, PlayStation.
I was super into Injustice 2 when it came out. I played it for about a good 2 solid months straight. Have not touched it since tonight. I know they came out with a bunch of DLC, and my thing, much like for the Mortal Kombats from NetherRealm, where it's like, look, I'll touch it again when all the DLC is out and I can play all the new characters.
Jay has played it. I actually have not. So y'all, Annie's gonna die a lot today. But she's gonna have a lot of fun.
Your chat too is asking me, hey, where's your cape, Joel? If you go to my Instagram feed at Fan Expo this year, which is like the biggest comic book convention in Toronto, I actually got a really good picture snapped of myself over at the Supergirl Pavilion, where they actually let you put on the red cape and everything. And here's the funny thing, Superman capes never worked for me. Apparently I need the Supergirl cape because that just works for me completely.
Hey.
I was surprised too, but yeah, if people actually want to see me in a cape, go to my Cape Joel Instagram. That's where you can find it.
So in Toronto.
see
What part of the
here.
world are you from? Are you from up north there?
Yes, I am a Canadian, eh? You can't tell, you can't tell because I'm choking down all my Canadianisms there, eh? How about that?
That's awesome.
But yes, I am from the land of Canada, but I've been lucky enough to make it to America quite a few times because of work. I went to the Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle last year. I went to New York for the first time. Didn't get to go this year, unfortunately, but I definitely want to go back and visit America again.
Yeah. I still have not been to Canada, but I'd like to.
It's nice.
Yeah. What part of Canada? That's a big,
I am in.
broad location.
It is a pretty. I am in Ontario. I am in very northern Ontario. So I live in the sticks. Like I live in the country. Like I think it shocks all the other people I work with just how country I am up here. I also, just to further build the lore and the legend here, I live in a condo filled with old people. I am the youngest person in my condo, the youngest owner here by
wow.
about four decades. Yeah, like when I moved in, I think I must have ruffled a bunch of feathers because everyone's like, "What's that young fella doing in here, Gladys?" I don't know, but maybe he'll help us screw in some light bulbs or help us with the internet.
That's right.
I've been doing a lot of that. People have been coming to me and like, "Hey, can you help me with my computer?" So I've endeared myself.
They'd be asking you to set their time on the VCR.
Yeah, really. Oh, there's a couple of VCRs. Yeah, there's most definitely a couple of VCRs. You're not far off.
I still have my old VCR.
I had mine until just recently because I still have a bunch of tapes. I was a serial taper was the thing. If ever something was on TV, I'd be like, oh, I gotta grab this because I never know when it's going to be on again.
I have a sister, she's 15 years younger than me, and when she was still in high school, she comes up to me, "Can I borrow your VCR?" I'm like, "Sure, why? Do you still have tapes?" "Yeah, go through them." And she's like, "All right, thanks. My friends and I wanna see what it was like." And I was like, "All right." And they come back and they're just making fun of all the movies I enjoyed in high school. Face Off. They're like, "It was so weird." They're just making fun of Face Off and like, what are you
Face Off's a
doing?
classic.
I love Face Off. Stop it.
Face Off is great.
They
Castor
loved all-
Troy.
Oh. She loved it. She recently gave it back to me. She's like, "I'm too old for this now." And I'm like, "Okay."
Let's see. How do I invite someone to a game?
You
It
can
is
look
Private
at
match.
I
There
remember.
we go.
There you go.
Versus a friend.
I'm glad before we start, I got to put my hands back on the controller and remind myself, how to play, because it's been so long. Like, how do I play again?
Yeah, I've been pretty much a console exclusive until this past summer. I got really into PUBG. Built a computer so I could play PUBG.
Nice.
But I haven't played computer games since I was in high school. That was the 90s. So, but since then, that's all I've played is computer games.
I always say I'm going to take the dive and I'm going to join, the PC folks and everything. But I never do, and it's always like, I dropped like so much money on the PlayStation 4. I should really try and get the most of it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But then I can understand why people are totally into PC gaming now, because it's like consoles more and more are just becoming, lower end computers, because I still got to do all the updating and I still got to do all the everything.
Yeah. But the graphics are so nice on a PC.
True.
So nice. The one thing I don't like though is there is a little bit more hacking.
Yeah.
But I'm such a bad player. I usually get put into lower ranked matches, so
right.
Hacking isn't as prevalent there.
Now, as people can see on screen, Bane has been my main, and as you can see, I've kitted him out with a whole everything. And there's not too much of a level discrepancy between us, which is good, but oh my, someone got a lot of good epic gear.
oh yeah, when this first came out, I grinded it hard for a while.
Me too.
I had to get my full, kind of metallic 66 Batman suit. So.
There you go. It's a great look. No one's gonna say it's not a great look. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, you know my tech, sir. That's in any fighting game. I always find myself drawn to the to the brawlers, to like the big muscle dudes who might not be slow. And with this Bane build, I went pure defensive for it, which is good for me because I forget to block.
Me too, man. I'm really bad.
And there was a bit. There we go.
Now I was glad you said you hadn't played much, because I was like, cool. That means we're kind of even.
We are even, sir. We're on a much more even term. Also, hey, as someone who just got into wrestling this year, or like 2 years ago, I love the idea that all of Bane's moves are just like classic wrestling moves.
Yes.
I don't think the casual comic movie lover, I don't think even realizes that's his backstory.
Yes, he was a Mexican wrestler, or at least I don't think they ever go out of the way to say, oh yeah, he put on the mask because he loves luchadors, but seriously, that's what he is.
Exactly.
I really wish someone would write that story about Bane, where it's like, really, why the lucha, though? I watch much Lucha Underground on Netflix.
Let's move Joel right over here. That way it doesn't cover up his energy bar.
Alrighty.
Oh, there you go. I'll stop punching you then. Will you make tech adjustments?
It's
All
okay,
right.
man.
Yep,
You know, I don't want to be that guy.
Well, but now it covered up his face somehow.
No! Don't cover up the face of Joel, computer! Don't do it! Don't do it!
That's fine. I'll just duck and move while you fix the tech problems. Duck and move. All about the rope-a-dope.
You can't watch any of the game! No one can watch the game, you just have to see Joel's face!
There we go.
There it is.
We'll just put him on the side of the screen. There.
Good job, Jay. You
Nice.
did it.
Like, again, for wrestling fans there, Bane's finishing move in this game is literally Randy Orton's RKO out of nowhere. Which I'm like, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
So, which is your favorite Bane? The one from, the favorite movie Bane.
Favorite movie?
This should
I
be
mean...
easy.
I mean, neither was really that close, unfortunately. I mean, Dark Knight Rises was closer than Batman and Robin, but, Dark Knight Rises also kind of made him a henchman. It's like they set up this backstory for him, then they're like, oh, hey, did we say that was his backstory? Yeah, we lied about that, actually. Turns out it was this other character. Oh, power struggle. I'm never good at these. I never know what to do with these. And it's like they made them somewhat easier. In the second one, like they made it a little bit more easier to read. But even still, oop. This is close. Oh, there you go, tombstone pile driver.
Jay.
Oh.
Jay.
I did die.
Jay does a lot.
But look how close that was, though. That was very close.
What?
And again, it's like in most fighting games, learn one strategy that works, then just keep doing it over and over again. And this is why I love Injustice 2. Even when you lose, you still get points and you still grow your thing, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Makes no fight feel worthless. And even more so, I know one of the hot topics in like gaming as of currently is the whole loot box thing, whether they're good for gaming, whether they're bad for gaming. I think people forget that this game not only had loot boxes, but I think this game actually handled loot boxes pretty good, and that is you get them very frequently, very often, and you only get them for the characters you're playing currently, so again, you mostly get what you want most of the time.
Well, that's cool. I have not played this, so I didn't know that, but that sounds pretty awesome.
This one did it right. You can take that from Cave Joel. More companies who do loot boxes should do it the Injustice way. Man, Scarecrow.
Boxes on this as well?
You can, but you never have to unless you're really trying to farm for something,
Gotcha.
which is
So
really
you can
nice.
Get anything through enough gameplay.
You can, which is how it should be.
Yeah. I agree. Ooh, that's some bad breath there, brother.
Oh yeah, fear toxin in the mouth. That's super halitosis. I really like how my
Sandman, yeah?
What's that?
pardon Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, that's what I meant to say.
Although he does
Looks
kind of look like.
awesome.
I got really lucky with my drops in this one for my custom Scarecrow. He's got the Plague Doctor hat and mask and everything.
How you doing today, Whitted? Welcome. We're playing with Kate Joel today.
Hello.
He is a content creator. He's a comic book guru.
Why, thank you.
Go check him out.
I should put that on my business cards now. Comic book guru. I like that. Sounds much better than professional comic book guy. I like comic book guru.
Well, I've seen you also have some stuff up on the, what was it, the DC Fans channel?
I did. That's like the 5th or 6th time I've got to be on there. I have a really good working relationship with those guys, and vice versa. They're good people who run that. In fact, for the longest time, the woman who was my contact for there, without telling too many tales out of school, I found out that she was actually the daughter of someone very famous. She doesn't work there anymore, but I was shocked to find out that I'm like, huh, that last name, that sounds like a last name of a famous person, only to discover, oh wait, she actually was. It was quite the thing to only find that out way after the fact.
Yeah.
Man, Scarecrow is almost unfair in this game when he does that big swing attack.
Yeah, if you're somebody that tries to fight at a distance, he's one of the worst people to try to fight.
He really, like, never did I think when this game came out where it's like, oh, the character people will be really cheap with in multiplayer is Scarecrow. Oh, is she gonna get me? Oh,
No,
I fell down
you were
just
still
in.
down.
Whew. That's another thing I love about this game, the super system where everyone comes at you from a different angle and a different range. Harley's is probably the most interesting because no one ever thinks to dodge at the angle you have to dodge her at. Oop. Again, closer than I thought. And again, I'm no Mortal Kombat master. I've never learned, the art of juggling, even though you see people online and in tournaments, like, they never touch the ground.
Yeah.
One day.
Oh yeah, we watched that Sonic Fox kid
Mm.
that plays. Oh, he's the champion at this game, and there's no way I'll ever be as good as that dude.
They're, Oh, wow. Oh, actually pulled that one out. Nice. And I like your Flash costume, too.
Look at that, Jay.
When I was at Fan Expo this year, they had like the Canadian like qualifiers or whatever for the big Injustice tournament. And oh, are we rematching again, or is my controller now?
Yeah, I meant to go to select new fighter.
Jay.
Yes.
Don't mess it up, Jay.
Yeah, they had the Canadian arm of the Injustice tournament there. And I got to see like the guy who was #1 in Canada. He had probably the fastest fingers of any guy I've ever seen. Like, it didn't even look like he was touching the controller. He was moving so unearthly fast.
Yeah, those guys are quite skilled.
Mm-hmm. Next level
Exciting
for
to
sure.
see, too. We just got to go hang out at IEM.
Nice.
Yeah, just a few, like 2 weeks ago. And we got to see pros play each other at PUBG, and it was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to see the level that all of them at once can demonstrate. We're like, wow, we suck.
Yeah, just the way they were moving their mouse and using their keyboard, I was like, wow, no wonder I suck and they're really good. I look like a turtle trying to do most of that.
I think my problem is I love so many games, it's hard to commit myself to just one to like really master it.
Well, that was the thing about console gaming. At least all my controls were the same. Fighting games are all pretty similar to fighting games.
Yeah.
Your Call of Duties and Battlefields, almost all the controls are the same.
It's true. More now than ever, like every first-person shooter is doing the Call of Duty thing. Wow, Wonder Woman is so fast. Also, is that the movie costume? Was that like the special event they had where you can get?
That's what that is. I think the last time I played this game was right around the time the movie came out.
That's about when I quit too, or at least took a break from it. Can you believe the Ninja Turtles are going to be in this now?
I know. I really want to buy the expansion packs. Well, one because of the Atom and Raiden, and yes, the Ninja Turtles, dude. I can't believe it.
It's like, hey,
silly, but I'm also super excited.
Did you read the crossover with the Ninja Turtles?
I didn't, but my buddy Sal read it, and he absolutely swore up and down about it.
Really?
I read #1 and liked it. I was gonna go back and read more of it. I'll probably buy it when it comes out on trade, but I just got busy and get behind.
I think it comes out just in time for Christmas, and there's going to be a sequel very soon.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Well, I will definitely read it.
Well, guess who the villain is for the sequel? This is why I know. Bane is going to be the sequel, yeah. He's going to be the sequel. I'm like, well, I wasn't in before, but they got me now. It's funny, I played this game for so long before I realized, oh wait, Green Arrow actually has trick arrows.
Yes.
And you can actually get him to do crazy stuff.
Oh, they were valuable in some of the tournaments I watched. A lot of people use him because of those arrows.
He's very unique.
I won 2 out of 3, Annie. Now it's your turn.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Joel, I'm gonna make you feel like a pro.
Okay, this is good. I can win this back, everyone. I can win this back. We're having fun. That's the important thing.
That's exactly right. All right, let's see. I am guy on the left.
Who haven't I played yet? Ooh.
Who interests?
Again, as you can tell, I like the big burly wrestler type characters. Those are the ones I excel at.
Yeah,
Although
I really like what they did with him in Flash.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was really even on Legends too. I loved he showed up and got to be a villain on Legends again. You could do a whole fighting game just with the Green Lantern cast. There's so many.
Yes. How do you feel about those new lanterns?
Which one? Simon Baz?
And Simon.
Oh yeah.
Their comic that's been going on for over a year now.
Yeah, they've been at it for a while. I really dug it. I like Sam Humphries. I actually got to meet him through Valiant and a couple mutual friends we have. He's actually going to be taking over Nightwing very soon. Yeah, I dig them. They're cool. I'm glad they're confident enough to be like, look, Hal's been around for so long having basically the same adventures. Let's try and do something different with Green Lantern. And hey, how about we have some Green Lanterns that maybe stay on Earth for longer than a couple minutes?
Yeah, I do like that. All of our classic lanterns are over in the Lantern Corps right now.
Yeah.
And then you've got some Earth lanterns that are still learning to be lanterns, really.
Yeah. It's nice. It's like a reboot without doing a reboot. Because, like... Oh, man. Dexstar. If you love Dexstar, you would love you would love Super Sons from this week because they did a.
I'm going to read it just because I watched your review last night.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's reuniting the Super Pets, which is a wonderfully Silver Age concept. So you got like Crypto the Super Dog and Streaky the Super Cat.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It is awesome. Like the Super Pets used to be like a real deal team, and now they're bringing them back for DC Rebirth and being like, oh yeah, they were always around. And then in a flashback, we see the Super Pets were fighting Dexstar on Earth, and I'm like, oh, of course, because he's Red Lantern and he's a cat, so of course they fight. That makes so much sense. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Now wasn't there also a Marvel Super Pets kind of team?
Yeah, there was with like Lockjaw and Frog. Yeah, I forget what they were called, but yes, they were totally a team.
Howard the Duck a part of it?
I don't think he was, but that would make
More of a
sense.
sentient, character. He's not really a pet.
He's more like Detective Chimp, like he can talk, although they use Detective Chimp to great effect in that Super Pet story I'm talking about, because he can speak pet.
When you said the Detective Chimp, that was kind of like, oh, I'm definitely gonna go read this now.
Detective Chimp is so cool. Man, not a lot of supers getting done off in this one. We're all countering each other's moves so well. We haven't.
Both of the L2 R2 at the same time.
Ah, all right.
Here we go.
What's
Yeah,
I was scared.
Close to get his.
Well,
I was scared for a
everybody
second.
learns at their own pace.
I'm like, what's Atrocitus's range again? Is it really good? I can't remember.
Obviously, he's got to be standing right next to you.
Right next to you.
Oh,
Hey,
nice
look what I
move.
can do. Oh, you don't have to applaud me. That was brought to you by button mashing.
that's the other thing about fighting games why I never really got into them, because it's like, wait, you mean to tell me I can study my whole life, put my whole heart and soul into this, and I can still be beaten by someone who is just button mashing?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like about this game. It's the only way I can win games online is when I go back to button mashing. I'll try strategy until my first bar goes away. Then it's like,
Yep.
now I'm mad. It's button mashing time.
Yeah, then it's desperation time. I feel ya.
I hate to yell Hulk smash during a DC game, but yeah, that's what I feel like.
It is what it is.
Whoop, whoop. Oh no, it's happening.
I got.
Use your power. Use your power.
Oh,
Eddie.
powers.
Oh,
no,
too late.
No
Too
power.
late. He crushed you.
Got you in my movements.
I died.
That was really close though, as these have all been.
Beginner's luck. I still died.
God, Grodd is cool.
He is super duper awesome.
And used to great effect in this game's story as well. I like he builds like his own team of supervillains.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Gorilla Grodd like a super old like Legion. Super Friends Legion of Doom. Wasn't he the leader of that? Oh, scroll down to select new fighter.
I'm attempting to.
You might have to hit circle.
I think that was Luthor, but in the Justice League cartoon, he set up the Legion of Doom.
Okay.
But yeah, he has a long history with them, so I think that's really awesome that they got to use him. And as we said on Legends, they're basically building a new Legion of Doom, and Grodd's going to be a member of that, so that's cool.
Yeah, that will be awesome.
It's funny, as I mentioned, I don't even watch Arrow, but I keep enjoying that Damien Dark shows up in things.
Dude, he's one of my favorite characters that started on Arrow. I've never really cared for that actor as far as like the roles he plays always seem like the same role over and over again.
Yeah, Neil McDonough.
Yeah, but this role I think is my favorite thing he's ever done.
He's very well suited to it, and you can tell he's having so much fun.
The quips he makes, I mean, it's like he is having fun doing it. Exactly.
And it's nice to have a quippy villain.
Yep.
Now, I think I used to be good at Damien. Let's see if I remember what his moves are. He does like a lot of flippy stuff.
Flippy is fun.
Flippy is good, and he's got like the different batarangs. it was funny for the sequel. It's like, hey, Deathstroke is out, but Damian's got a lot of his same sword tricks.
It's the cat trader.
So who is your favorite Robin?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Because I think they're all pretty enjoyable in their own way. I mean, the cliche answer is to just say Dick Grayson because he's the first. You know, he set the tone for all the others. Some fans, I think, tell their age when they say Tim Drake because there was like a long period of time where if you were reading comics, it was only ever Tim.
Yeah.
I know some people might just say Jason because they like Red Hood. I've never enjoyed Jason all that much, although I do think he's been in some fun stuff. Damian's done a lot to make me like him recently. He's endeared himself to me quite a bit thanks to Peter Tomasi and his Batman and Robin run, and then even right now, Ben Percy with Teen Titans. I've come around to him.
Damian's grown on me, but I have to say that Burt Ward's my favorite Robin. You know, of all mediums, that's my favorite.
Fair. That's fair. Again, he did it first, so I mean, you know, he can never take that away from him.
I watched him way before I ever picked up a comic and read it. So
yeah, it's true. My father, same deal. He would say there. It's like, oh well, I mean, Adam West. Well, he was my Batman, and never won't be my Batman. It's nice that him and Burt Ward and everyone else got to make those two animated DC films in the 60s canon before he passed away.
Now, has the second one came out?
Yeah, I think it has, actually.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the second one.
Yeah, neither have I,
watched
actually.
the first one. It was amazing. I'm so nostalgic for 66 Batman.
My favorite bit is when Batman hits his head in that first one and he sees all the different versions of Catwoman that have existed. Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They worked them all in.
Ow. Ow.
Damian's reach is insane with that sword.
Yes, it is. I wish they would do some of that with like what is it, 77 Wonder Woman. I know they've used her comic books, but they should do Diana Prince, the actress. I know she's
Linda Carter.
president on Superwoman. Have her come back and voice it and do a cartoon with 77 Wonder Woman.
You know, not only should they do Linda Carter, they should take it a step further. They should try and get some sound-alikes, and they should do a whole retro Justice League of, like, Adam West, Batman, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and, like, Christopher Reeve, Superman.
Yes, that would be so awesome.
And then I guess whoever would be... I guess John Wesley Shipp could be the Flash again, because he's still with us, though he was...
He's still the classic Flash, as far as we know for TV, so...
Can't take that away from him.
That's right. I mean, that is cool that he still is a Flash on another Earth.
That's really nice that all these years later he gets to come back. And also that Mark Hamill got to be the trickster again on TV.
That was so much fun. That was so much fun.
And that they use clips from, his TV show as part of his, like, rap sheet, where it's like, wait, so these shows are in the same continuity is what you're telling me? All right. You going Harley? I will go Joker then. But do I want to be a Joker who's more about defense or attack?
I'm going to take the one that was presented to me.
There you go.
I really hope they put some skins in this game from that Batman Ninja animation that's coming out.
Yeah, that would be smart.
Super creepy, awesome. I'm going to have nightmares about that Joker.
Very much so. Very like kabuki play. I dig that as well. This Joker, too, who caught a serious case of Leto, no doubt, when they were developing this one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, you can tell this movie definitely had some strong Suicide Squad current DC universe.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny, the first Injustice had that, too, because if you remember, one of the alternate skins for Wonder Woman in Injustice 1 was Wonder Woman with pants, which, like, existed for, like, a minute before they changed it all over to the new 52, and it's like, wow, you can really tell when they were developing this one.
Do you keep up with the Injustice comic book?
I see, not as much, which is so weird because like that has been so incredibly popular. I just haven't found time for it. I think I read about 2 volumes into it, because you can read it super fast because they're super short.
They're so short. Yeah, that's what I like about it. I'll use it as a catch-up when I'm bored occasionally.
Yeah, I think which is basically how I was doing it too. It's my travel and plane reading is what it is. I think I was in like a doctor's office once and I read like 2 volumes while I was waiting. Which A goes to show you how short it is and also how long you can wait at the doctor sometimes. It's like no, don't mind me, medical professional. I'm just gonna get 2 volumes into this, gonna catch up on my reading. But yeah, I enjoyed Injustice. My buddy Matt, whom I do Comic Multiverse with, he's much more up to date on it. Oh, no. Oh, is this going to get... Yeah. Hers is so hard to dodge.
Well, that's fun.
Them dogs in this, they are a major attack point.
They are rough, that's for sure. Now, did you know this? The 2 hyenas, Joker and Harley's pet hyenas, their names are Bud and Lou. Do you know what that's a reference to? Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
I love
Which
it.
is so what Joker would name his pet.
Yeah.
Completely.
That reminded me, there was a bit in a Paul Dini Batman comic where the Joker has kidnapped Robin and he's like joyriding around with him, running people over. And Robin manages to distract him by misquoting a Groucho Marx movie at him. And Joker gets so offended that he gets the quote wrong. He stops, pulls over the car, and has to describe the whole scene, giving Robin enough time to escape. Because he was so offended he got a movie quote wrong.
I really want to hear Mark Hamill do that.
Oh, me too. Oh, there was a great bit. I know not many people are watching it because it's basically already been canceled, even though there's like 60 episodes left to be shown. But that Justice League action show, which is actually much better than anyone gives it credit for, genuinely funny and moves at a good pace. They did a little internet short where, oh yeah, nice. Cool guys don't good explosions. But yeah, they did a great bid for Justice League Action. It was only for, it was only digital. It was like only for their website. But essentially what they did was Mark Hamill plays himself as he gets kidnapped by the Joker and the Trickster, 2 people who he voices, and then he is ultimately saved by Swamp Thing, who Mark Hamill also voices on Justice League Action.
I've got to go back and watch that episode. I've been downloading them in batches when I'm trying to catch up on TV, and I'll watch an episode of that, then I'll watch one of those hour-long episodes of something else, and then switch back and forth. Got to make my own TV schedule these days.
Same here. That's how I do. I don't even think it was on TV. I think it was like a digital short they put up because it's only like 2 minutes. Like it's even shorter than the regular shorts.
I will definitely search that out then.
I'm searching
It is.
right
It's super fun. Like I could tell like that's such a Paul Dini thing where he's like, oh, let's do this, and then they're like, yeah, Paul, we can't make this into a whole episode just because you really want it. Well, what about a 2-minute short then? All right, then we'll make it 2 minutes. Now, Deadshot, if I recall, is really hard to pilot.
But if you get him down, he can just keep you back away from him, and you can't get a lick in because he can just tear you up with that gun. I'm not that good with him, though. I mean,
no, neither am I.
I just picked somebody with a gun because you did, so.
There you go, just to even it out.
What's that? Yeah, he has a sniper rifle he can hit you with. Well,
yeah, I know.
See, but look what he can do with it.
It's like, yeah, I don't know, Floyd, but that seems like a poor idea to bring a sniper rifle to a close quarters fight. Like, I'm no expert on guns or nothing, but just saying.
I know nothing about that, but I know that
if you're
ways to fight close quarters.
If you're gonna do it right. Although they make a big deal in this game where it's like, yeah, you know, he's got a gun, but he also has a super cool knife. Deadshot. I'm like, I don't remember him having a knife in the comics, but okay, good job making a big deal about it, I guess.
The special move should be he teleports to a far-off place.
Yeah, that should have been his finisher. You're absolutely right. Why was that not his finisher? If they ever get Bullseye into a fighting game, which God willing one day they will, that should be his thing. He just runs away to a far vantage point.
Yes.
You need to be able to team him up with Cisco or somebody so you can teleport far away and then shoot back at them.
Right here, like you guys, there's so many interactive pieces in this game.
Oh yeah.
One of his things could be he just like teleports one of those scaffoldings in the background of him.
Actually, you know, as I stop and think about it, because I was comparing Deadshot to Bullseye from Marvel. Bullseye, most of his famous kills, Elektra, Karen Page, etc., he did that right in front of them. He didn't do that far away. Despite being a guy called Bullseye, he really didn't have much of a chance to miss. Where Deadshot, all of his most famous stuff, he did do farther away. Uh-oh, this isn't looking good for me. What a cool finisher.
That is awesome. Oh, that was my favorite part, or favorite. There were so many favorite moments, but one of my favorite moments in what was it? Earth X, Crisis on Earth X was seeing Killer Frost
Do that move with yeah, finally doing the Captain Cold Iceman moves.
Going the full Bobby Drake, where it's like somewhere Iceman is watching this and being like, "Oh, I'm so proud."
It was awesome. I was so excited.
They've given her a lot to do, Killer Frost, across all the CW shows, and I really like that, because as much as I enjoy the CW shows, it's like, man, some of their women characters don't get a lot of good storylines devoted to them, like Iris. It's really unfortunate how little Iris has to do most of the time.
Yeah, she just sits in the background.
Like there was that episode with her like bachelorette party, and it's like, oh, who's she going to invite to her bachelorette party? Oh, this woman she knows from work, this woman from another show who they've had maybe 3 conversations with. Oh, and her dad's girlfriend? Really? Yeah. She has no friends at school? She has no friends from the short amount of time she worked at the paper? Jeez.
Exactly. No other life?
Yeah, no other life except for the Flash. And I'm like, that's really disappointing. That's very sad.
I hooked up with Barry and I quit everything.
Quit life, which is like, wow. And they like try and make a deal of it being like, oh, you know, but she helps run things on Team Flash. I'm like, yeah, but she has no experience. She's not a master of anything. She can't tell anyone what to do.
She's supposed to be the Snoopy reporter that gets in trouble more, not the running the team.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I would enjoy some story arcs like that. Have her go investigate something and have Barry save her. Give her a Lois Lane kind of role.
Well, that's what she was doing in like seasons 2 and 3. I'm surprised they just stopped it as dead as they did. You know what they need? They need a little bit of Legends of Tomorrow writing is what they need. They need like some self-awareness for Iris to be like, you know, I just realized I have no life outside of you. I realized I don't have any friends. I'm going back to work.
Exactly.
and I'd be like, yes, you should.
Yeah, don't hang out at Star Labs all day. Why is everybody hanging out in that old dilapidated building now?
It's true. And okay, here's I'm glad you mentioned that about Star Labs. What is it? Cisco talks about like, oh, you know, I'm going to work. This is work and everything. Who pays you?
Yeah, I've been wondering that for a while. I mean,
where does this magic money come from?
And I mean,
yeah,
I assume all the alternate Earth people usually stay at Start Labs. Do they have some bedrooms there or what?
For real, because it's like, you know, who's paying the bills in this place? You defeated Reverse Flash Wells in season 1. Like, who's been keeping the lights on in this place and all this equipment this whole time?
That's a good question, actually. Who is funding their research?
Well,
it's so true.
They've got to have some serious light bills all doing portals to other Earths. And...
yeah, that can't come cheap.
They just got some secret donor that no one's ever brought up.
It's even funnier because, like, the one time we see Cisco's apartment in the show when Barry is crashing with him for a little bit, it's a very nice apartment in downtown, and I'm like, how much money, like, how much is Cisco worth? Is he independently wealthy? Did his parents help him out? What's the deal? Because, like, I don't think just, like, a lab assistant, even a really good lab assistant, should be able to afford a place this nice.
I mean, they really need to, you know, be patenting some of these doohickeys they come up with.
You would hope so, because again, it's like, I mean, just that freeze gun alone, they gave that to just one super criminal, and you saw how much good that was able to do. Imagine if they gave that to, like, firefighters so they could fight fires and stuff. Dang.
Yeah, they're not making full use of their potential.
They're really not.
That's what Iris needs to do. She needs to, like, be the CEO of New Star Corp or something.
There you go. That makes sense. Or even more so, because I legitimately thought they were going this way with it at the end of season 3 when, what is it, the other Harrison Wells turned it into like a science museum.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
It was gonna be, I
Oh,
thought it was going to end up being the Flash Museum at some
me
point.
too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so by the end of this, it's going to be the Flash Museum. She should resurrect that idea and be like, okay, Star Labs is going to be the Flash Museum now, and we're going to make money selling tickets so people can come out and like see stuff devoted to the Flash. Because then it makes sense. It's like, okay, they're selling tickets. That's how they make their money. Well, who haven't I been yet? I'm not good with him, but I'll give old Black Adam a try. I'll give old Dwayne Johnson a try.
The Rock.
Yeah, can't wait for that, for when that movie becomes a thing, and then suddenly Black Adam in the comics will A, become 100 times more important than he has been, and B, he'll start looking like
And
The
he'll
Rock.
start looking like The Rock, yeah. Yeah, I like that, you know, even like in one of the newer Punishers, he now looks like
John
Punisher
Bernthal.
from Netflix, yeah.
Yep, just overnight, Frank Castle became John Bernthal. And it's like, geez, I wonder how that happened. It's almost as if they have a TV show they're trying to cross-promote. Which it's funny too, because it's like, well, they're all just doing the Iron Man thing. I still remember when slowly but surely Tony Stark started morphing into Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, is it just me, or is he starting to look? He's starting to look a little bit more. Yeah, he's Robert Downey Jr. now.
Yeah.
I am Robert Downey Jr. man.
And I'm starting to wonder with the newer storylines with Riri and the Tony Stark AI. I wonder if that's going to come into play in the movies long after Robert Downey Jr. can even play it. He's going to be the AI forever.
Oh, that would be so... Well, because again, as we saw in Captain America Civil War, they have, like, computer-generated Robert Downey Jr., and they can make him look younger, and they can do all this crazy stuff with technology. So it's like, hey, if they just do that with all the actors, then they never have to stop. They can just always be in the background in one form or another.
And that's, I mean, you know, you would think DC would have called up Marvel and went, hey, we know y'all can make people younger. Can y'all help us remove a mustache?
I know, right? Man, that's like... It's like, of all the things, and like that's the thing people keep coming back to about Justice League, and so many people are like, oh, why are you harping on that one thing? Because this movie cost $300 million. You think if there was one thing you wouldn't cheap out on, it would be that.
Well, also it
Or
was distracting. Jay and I had no idea what had happened. I didn't know anything about that when I went to go see the movie. And I stopped at one point, and I lean over to Jay. I'm like, is there something wrong with his face? Are his teeth animated? What's happening? And Jay goes, I don't know. Maybe Henry Cavill had a bunch of plastic surgery. I don't know. But we keep making comments throughout the movie. We do not know what's wrong with his face. And then afterwards, we look it up. Or between the end credit scene in the movie, we're in the theater looking it up. What's wrong with his face? We're like, really?
At the very, very least, if you were going to do that, if that was something your hands were tied and you had to do it, at the very, very least, please stop showing him in so many close-ups.
Yeah, you could probably use just old clips of him from a distance, and it would have worked out great.
Yeah.
Would have been fine. Would have been fine.
Again, I don't know anything about movies. I don't know anything about Hollywood. That just seems obvious.
It was pretty bad.
Perfect example too of good special effects work and good like stuff like that on a serious budget. Again, to bring it back to the CW universe and what they do so well and everything, Gorilla Grodd, like we mentioned, they do such a good job of remembering film him from far away and film him at night. So that covers up a lot of the, more uncomfortable stuff.
Exactly.
So you can have a big, giant, talking psychic ape on television just if you remember those rules.
But that's one thing about the CW universe. They're dealing with such a minuscule budget compared to that movie. And I feel like the CW universe, it takes place in real places.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
In
yeah.
in
Vancouver, mostly.
well, yeah, it does. But when you watch the big movie production, I feel like it's more taking place in a computer animation than in a real place.
None of it feels real. And audiences, like, they might not think they feel that, but you feel it when it doesn't feel real. Like, another good example of that was X-Men Apocalypse, that big fight they had at the end where everything, was exploding all around them. I'm like, none of this is real. All of this is happening in a computer. I can't get into this because none of this is real.
Well, exactly. I mean, one of my comments after Justice League was, if I wanted to watch an animated film, I would have stayed home. I already watch all the animated films at home.
And they're really good.
Live action film. Exactly. I love them, but they don't show them on the big screen.
Which they should, actually, is like the weird thing.
Oh yeah, when they do show them, we go.
Mm-hmm.
To see the Killing Game on IMAX.
The Killing Joke.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Killing Joke. The Killing Joke on IMAX. It was amazing. It was
I
fun
bet.
to see it on a format that large.
I ordered a big Killing Joke poster from that movie, and I'm still meaning to get Mark Hamill to sign it for me.
Yes. That'd be awesome.
Well, you get to go to a lot of the cons. I'm sure you're going to run across him sooner or later.
Yeah, it's the thing is that usually when I go to those, I'm working on other stuff, and so it's like I need to make time to try and flag him down, and it's usually like super long lines.
You got to try to make sure they get you guys a signing table close to him.
That's the hope. My first time I ever got to sign, and it was a wonderful, beautiful moment in my life that I'll never forget. It was New York Comic Con 2 years ago, and they had set us up right next to two of the original Power Rangers.
Oh.
That's
And-
awesome. Who were you next to?
What is it? Billy, Christopher Yost, and Orlando Jones, who was Zach.
Yeah.
And I remember, yeah, I still remember being 6 years old. Like, if I could go back in time and tell 6-year-old me, hey, one day you're going to be in New York and two original Power Rangers are going to be right next to you, 6-year-old me would be like, you're a dirty liar. Don't tease me. Don't play with my emotions like that, but it happened. And here's the thing. I really wanted to go up and say something to them, but here's the thing. Their line was super long, so I didn't want to make it look like I was cutting the line. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't want a bunch of Power Rangers fans to get upset with me because I dared cut the line.
Oh, but still, that's exciting. I loved the Power Rangers when I was a kid.
It was a nice moment. Not only did I love the Power Rangers when I was a kid, I still check in on them every often to see what's going on.
What were your
'Cause it's
thoughts
like-
on the movie?
I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was gonna hate it. There's definitely a lot of problems with it that are indicative of like big Hollywood reboots where I feel like they miss the point on a lot of the stuff, or they overthink stuff that they shouldn't. But I will say that last 15 minutes, when it basically just becomes an episode of the show where they gotta beat up the putties, they got to get into the Megazord and fight the big monster, that was good. That was actually quite enjoyable. They even play the original theme, which I was not expecting, and I was happy to get them play the original theme. But it's also kind of like, oh man, did I really need that hour and a half to get to these last 15 minutes I enjoyed?
Yeah.
So funny too when they made that movie, the director's like, oh yeah, we got a 6-movie plan for this, it's gonna be a whole huge franchise, you're gonna love it, you're gonna come back to it every year. And I'm like,
And we got Bryan Cranston.
And we got Bryan Cranston, which is very fitting because he was one of those actors back in LA who did monster voices.
Exactly. I mean, I
In
went
fact-
into watching it pretty pessimistic, and I actually enjoyed myself. I thought it was a fun movie. Lots of problems. But
For sure.
I had fun.
That's about how I
Better than the older movies that were the Power Ranger movies with like
No.
Ivan
No one can
Ooze.
replace Ivan Ooze.
I have a nostalgic soft spot for them too, which again, showing my age a little bit, but yeah.
Well, and Ivan Ooze got to be in another movie, Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's right. That was basically, yeah, that was his brother, Tom Cruise. Tom Ooze. He got to be in that. Good for Tom Ooze.
Yes.
Fighters approaching Gorilla City.
But yeah, I didn't hate it as much as I thought. What was interesting about when I got to go see the Power Rangers movie, I was out in Victoria, British Columbia, And my aunt, who I was staying with out there, she had a friend who worked for a radio station, and they were handing out a bunch of advance tickets. And I had sworn to myself, where I'm like, no, I'm not going to go see the Power Rangers movie. I'll see it when it comes out on DVD. I'm not. I refuse to spend money to see this big Hollywood version of a thing I like. Then it's like, oh hey, we got some tickets to see an advanced screening. I'm like, I guess I got to go see it then. But I didn't have a terrible time, and what was actually kind of nice about it was I got to take my younger cousin with me, who didn't know anything about Power Rangers, and this was his, like, first exposure to it. And I'm like, oh, well, this will be interesting to get his point of view, because, you know, it's like, I have all these rose-tinted glasses and everything. It'll be funny to see, like, an uncorrupted, youthful take on it.
Yeah. That was actually one of the things I appreciated about Justice League. There were parts I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but right behind me was a little boy. Couldn't have been more than 5 or 6, really, really young. And he was so excited to see all the Justice League. And he just kept exclaiming out loud, Daddy, Daddy, look, it's Batman. Daddy, it's Wonder Woman.
Aw, that's nice.
It was just precious. And hearing his excitement, I appreciated his perspective.
Exactly. That's good. That's always good to hear. I had a very similar experience with Justice League. There was about 6 young girls in front of me. I say young. They actually looked to be having a Sweet 16 party by the look of it, because they were very much in that party mode. And again, they sat right in front of me, and I couldn't help but overhear them. And their conversation actually kind of gave me hope in a way, too, because they were talking about how much they loved the Wonder Woman movie and how excited they were for this, because it's like, oh, more Wonder Woman, you know, finally, like, a movie for us and everything. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was great.
Yeah, they left kind of disappointed, though, because there wasn't as much Wonder Woman as they wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, girls, I feel the same way, actually. I also would have liked more Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they didn't utilize her in the best ways. She was just the lady one. That was her role.
Yeah.
In,
Unfortunate.
Justice League. But Wonder Woman was amazing. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I even had an opportunity to go out with my sister and some nieces.
Oh.
And we were going to either see Wonder Woman or we were going to see Spider-Man. It's been some time since Wonder Woman had come out.
Right.
And they wanted to see Wonder Woman. So
That's
and
good.
I'd already seen it 3 times at that point. But I was like, screw it. It's the best movie ever. Let's go. And it's amazing.
That No Man's Land scene when, you know, she's crossing it and everything. Like we were talking about, what's your favorite like superhero movie this year? That's definitely my favorite superhero moment of the year. Like that's gonna be hard to touch. Like even though I might have liked some other movies a smidge more, that scene was perfect. Like that's the whole movie right there, and that's everything I wanted from Wonder Woman, and also everything I want from DC movies. More No Man's Lands, please.
Yeah, and that's one of the few times we've seen a superhero become a superhero.
Absolutely.
We in this universe, we've gotten Batman as Batman.
Yep.
We've gotten Superman as Superman, even though, you know, we get to see him as Clark a little bit. You don't.
Yeah.
We got a little further in his story than just learning his good versus evil, and
absolutely,
and just coming out of the phone booth. We don't really get that, but that was kind of like her phone booth moment. Before that,
really
she
was
just Diana Prince, some reporter lady, and oh my God, she's amazing.
You nailed it. You hit the nail on the head with that one. It was also the moment, too, where I stopped seeing Gal Gadot, the actress, and I'm like, okay, now you're Wonder Woman. Now I see it. Yeah. You're right. It was a total Christopher Reeves coming out of the phone booth moment where it's like, now you are the character.
My favorite scene was actually was an opening scene when it's all of the women fighting in the field. I've enjoyed watching young girls replicating what they saw, and it's super awesome.
It is nice. It's a good thing.
I've never seen this before. They're all ladies on the field. I want to do that.
I imagine, young girls' MMA classes probably saw an uptake in, membership and people joining them after that movie came out.
I'm sure. Oh, the whole movie was so much fun for me on so many levels. It was fun because we finally got Wonder Woman. Like, she's such an iconic character, and we haven't gotten a movie with her yet. But then also, you know, on the lady side, it was amazing to see a film of that caliber be made with a female lead, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
It was so
for sure.
much fun for me.
Absolutely.
been a good
Wonder.
Excuse me, I'm gonna grab some more water. I will be back in a few minutes, fellas.
Yeah, right on.
For sure. I mean, we're talking comic books. It isn't like we, you know.
Now I
keep
really
talking. We
don't.
can cover the dead air while you're gone.
Sure about
Now,
that, Jay? Can you exist
Yep.
without me, Jay?
Yeah.
Now, I
one
really-
of my favorite parts of Justice League was the Themyscira scene. It was.
Oh, it was really well done. They really put the time and effort into that world and made it make sense. Now, I really don't remember how Firestorm is supposed to work.
Oh, yeah. When I fought with him a little while ago, I was like, I don't know anything about this dude. I'll just keep punching buttons.
He's got a little bit of that M. Bison Psycho Crusher. FYI, if we were playing Street Fighter, M. Bison's totally my guy. I just spam Psycho Crusher over and over. Just find a move you like and stick with it.
Yeah, I want to try out that Marvel vs. Capcom game.
I didn't hear great things about it, which is really sad, because I liked Injustice so much.
I know. I really wish they would have this caliber of fight game, but with Marvel characters.
If they could steal... I mean, I'm sure NetherRealm had to sign some sort of non-compete clause or something, but wouldn't it be nice if Marvel could steal NetherRealm away for a minute just to make one game?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, maybe Disney can throw out that Disney money.
Yeah, really be like, hey, look, we got the dollars. We got them mouse dollars. Got that Disneyland fun bucks. Which I have never been to Disneyland.
Yeah, we've been to Disneyland, but not Disney World. Annie's mom actually works at Disneyland.
Oh, that's awesome.
She works in the costuming department, so
Ooh,
occasionally get the hookup.
nice. I've always really enjoyed the history of the park and everything, and how, you know, Disney hired the original Imagineers, some of the finest architects and engineers that the world had to offer to make his park and everything, and how he really did think of it as like a whole utopian setup and everything that could keep getting added on to even after his death.
Oh yeah, and in which they're doing that right now. They're making major expansions with the whole
Yes.
Star Wars land that they're
Uh-huh.
world or whatever they're creating. Yeah, I can't wait.
Which, hey, it's like, hey, I haven't been, but guess what? I'm gonna be, because they got Star Wars.
Well, when you get ready to go, you let us know. We're only 6
I
hours
will.
from LA, so we'll drive down and
Oh, nice.
we'll try to get that family hookup
Just-
going on. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I will take you up on that.
Hey, we take her up on it every time we get a chance. Anytime we're down there and they're like, want to go? Yes. The very first time I
Nice.
went down there, and this is, you know, about 10 years ago, early on, me and Annie had been dating. And I'd never been to Disneyland, and I was kind of apprehensive as far as like, that's for kids, you know. I'm a 30-year-old. What do I need with Disneyland?
Yeah, what are they gonna have to offer me?
And guess what? I'll never say that again.
Nice.
I rode Star Tours 1,000 times. And now they got the Guardians of the Galaxy ride down there. I didn't get to ride it last time I was down there, though. That's one thing I've definitely got to get back down there and see. But they've added stuff to Star Tours since the first time I went, and I've been back a few times, so I've gotten to see a few different trips on the Star Tours ride. But yeah, that place it's amazing for adults and kids.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess that's why they've been around as long as they have been. They offer a little something to everybody.
Well, and with the addition of Star Wars Land and
Oh, yeah.
soon to be, I'm sure they're going to be adding a Marvel Land at some point. I know there's
yeah.
still some kind of goofy rights issues with Marvel when Marvel sold off some
Right, because Universal has a bunch of Marvel-themed stuff that I'm sure they have to steal them away from.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure Disney's eventually going to get it all consolidated.
Oh, I'm sure they have the finest lawyers in the world working around the clock at exorbitant fees to make it work.
Yeah, I would. Man, I wish I had a piece of their legal budget, because a piece is probably all I would need.
For real. Yeah, geez, heck, I wish I would have one of those guys just to work out those, what is it, yellow dollar signs that are giving YouTubers so much trouble now.
Yeah, the monetization stuff.
Yeah, oh my god. Did you hear they made it worse today, actually?
I hear that it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. I'm glad
Yeah.
that that I don't have to deal with it yet because I don't get enough views for that really. So
That's that's kind of the wonderful thing. Like I have a backup channel where I put all my Twitch stuff. And it's funny, like I usually live in fear where it's like, oh God, you know, what if I put a wrong tag in here? What if I put the wrong title thing? But then it's like, oh, hey, wait, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't have enough viewership for them to take anything away. Oh, I'll just title it whatever I want and tag it whatever I want.
Yeah, and you know, like even on Twitch, I mean, you can play music and you can do all kinds of stuff. But if you put that music with that same video on YouTube, somebody else is going to get your monetization dollars.
Yeah, everyone wants it. It used to be the thing where it's like, okay, you know, you can appeal it very easily if you have like, you know, over so many subscribers, and we'll take a look at it. Usually took about 24 hours. It got dealt with, and that was fine. Now it's okay if you don't have over 1,000 views on this video within a day or so, within a week, you know, we're not even gonna look at it. And I'm like, awesome, thank you for making this worse and for really hurting new content creators. Like, I'm at a point now where, like, I don't have to worry about reaching that threshold near as much. But for the new little guy starting out, I feel terrible for them that they're going to have to be slaving away for a really long time before they even get to use even a portion of the stuff to actually like try and help their channel. Like I've been on YouTube for a very long time. Like I think this year will be like my 5th or 6th year, give or take. Because like I slaved at it for a bit even before like I joined a halfway decent outfit, eventually left that outfit, joined the weekly poll, and now I'm kind of also like making a go of it on my own solo over on Cape Joel.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a grizzled old vet in this YouTube game.
Speaking of which, hey Badfish, can you give me exclamation point Cape Joel in the chat room so his link will jump up?
Oh, I thank you.
Hey Two Fighter, how you doing? But yeah, and luckily with services like Restream and a couple of more that give you access to, you know, doing everything at once without needing multiple computers doing the processing for you.
Yeah.
I think people are going to start growing beyond that. I'm only a Twitch person, or I'm only a YouTube person, or.
That's why I wanted to go and get partnered on Twitch as soon as possible, because that's what a lot of my friends are doing. It's what a lot of my contemporaries are doing. Right now, Twitch really kind of seems to be the only other game in town if you want to make money online as a content creator. Like, what is it? VidMe, which everyone thought that was going to be a big deal. They shut down like yesterday.
Oh, really? I never used that one, so luckily I didn't have to worry about that.
There you go. You can't have your heart broken because you didn't know about them. But yeah, they were one of those where it's like, oh, you know, this could be the big like YouTube alternative that everyone has been waiting for. It wasn't.
Yeah, see, Mixer gets a little bit of a bump just because it's built into the Xbox.
Right.
And so, I mean, like one night we got a big bump on Mixer because we were on the front page because Annie was playing Marvel Lego 2. And there wasn't a lot of people playing it, and it just came out, so we all, it was crazy. I'd never seen Mixer so busy for us. It was, I was like, wow, why would Mixer get so crazy all of a sudden? But it was all because I heard Marvel Lego playing. But so the Xbox helps that out a lot, but without that,
that's good.
I mean, Twitch and YouTube are the only really two places for anything.
Only two games in town. Which, it's funny too with YouTube, it's like so much of what's wrong with them isn't because they're being malicious, it's because they're being lazy, is what it is. Like, even this new thing of, like, repealing your content thing, which is never a problem. FYI, if people want to know what videos got demonetized this week, it was my Look at Indie Comics and my Super Pets videos were the ones that they tried to demonetize. Because, you know, Super Pets and Indie Comics are super controversial, and, you know, no ad person would ever want a piece of that. Meanwhile, I had a whole comic called Murder Machine as part of Dark Knight's Metal. No, not a problem. Murder Machine is fine. Cute Pets is a problem.
That's so weird. And yeah, I saw you did the on the Indie Comics. You did Jupiter Jet.
I did.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get that one.
It comes out. It hits stores, and I know this because I know the creator. Hit stores in the next couple days, actually, in the United States and Canada.
Well, yeah, I thought you had done a show with one of the creators of it.
I have, Jason. I've done several.
Isn't it like a guy and his wife that does it?
Yeah, yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Inman and Ashley Robinson, who people probably know as being personalities over on DC All Access.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a big Kickstarter for this one, and obviously because I know Jason, because he knows I review single issues, he's like, hey, man, I know you didn't Kickstarter, but do you want to give this a look? And I'm like, yeah, totally, man, I'll give it a look. I've been meaning to talk about indie comics anyway, so this works out. People really seem to like that video, even though traditionally doing independent comics on comic book YouTube is usually a bit of a black hole for viewership, because even the most popular, most well-reviewed indie comic will never come anywhere close in terms of numbers to even like the worst reviewed DC and Marvel book, but I'm glad people actually seem to enjoy that one and actually stuck around for it. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, YouTube thrives on what's popular elsewhere.
Oh yes, they certainly do. But yeah, it was
recognition kind of place.
It really is. Like if I just put Batman in front of anything, people will eat that one up. Which thankfully I'm able to do because there's only like 6 Batman books a week, so it's fine.
Well,
Spider-Man as well.
That's one thing I noticed. We were getting a few more random viewers when I started putting more about what we were talking about, whether it's Justice League Week or it's whatever the hot movie is. With when Thor was coming up.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, Thor Ragnarok. We're gonna play Marvel games. And
there you go.
People would stop by and like, wait, what about Thor?
What about Thor? Did something happen with Thor? Is there something new? Tell me all about it.
Like, no, nothing new. We're just talking about what we expect of the movie and what we like about the movie. But appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, really. Thank you. I used to do a series, and I need to get it out of mothballs because I think now's the time to do it. It's called Required Reading, where I'd be like, hey, here's the 9 or 10, must-read books for this character. So, it gives you something to read before the movie comes out. And I haven't done it in a bit, but I did make some thumbnails for Thor, and I feel like maybe I should get one ready for the DVD release.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing, like the lead up to Thor. I would flip through some of my favorite issues and been like, yeah, this is one of my favorite all-time Thor stories, and I did that. I did a little bit of Kingdom Come for before the Justice League came out, even though it didn't really pertain to anything going on in the movie.
Nah, but it's just a good story to cover.
Awesome story.
It's just a lot of fun.
When they go to that restaurant and all the waitresses and waiters all are all dressed like superheroes.
Planet Krypton, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Planet
Man,
Krypton.
I wish Planet Krypton was real. I'd eat there every day.
Go there. Well, they have a bar down in LA now called Scum and Villainy.
I've seen that, yes.
And we tried to go last time we were in LA, but just couldn't work it out because we were down in Anaheim, not really in LA proper.
Right.
But yeah, we're definitely gonna make it there eventually.
Nice. There's There's a place in Asia. I don't know if it's one of the Koreas, but they have like a superhero cafe, and it's like, oh, you guys clearly didn't sign the rights for this one. And yet, even still, I would happily eat at this not 100% legit superhero restaurant just to say I did.
Oh yeah, well, I really want to go take an Asian tour where it's just to find all the things that aren't copyrighted, which is so much stuff, but just going through the back alley vendors and just horrible combinations of Wolverine and Spider-Man and.
There's a great Twitter page called Bootleg Stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they literally collect pictures of all the best bootleg stuff, and there's like some amazing stuff, like a toy box that says Justice League, but it's got like Shrek and a Power Ranger in it. And I'm like, I don't think I read that issue. There's a lot that happened there.
Definitely.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up that Twitter feed.
Oh, it's super fun. It's one of my favorite ones. Oh man, who haven't I been yet? I've been just about everybody.
Fair warning, I am playing now.
We'll see. You beat me a couple times.
All luck
Yeah, I'm actually gonna sneak off for just a second. I'll be right back, guys.
Are you? You're gonna sneak.
Well, I'm not gonna sneak very well because you're gonna see me do it on
I know,
camera.
that's a true statement.
I'm kind of too big to
I'll
sneak.
pretend like I didn't see you.
You have
Play
to
a-
pretend really hard.
Jay, where'd you go, Jay? How'd
Play
you
the
disappear?
pizzicato violin strings in there like an old Looney Tunes cartoon. Do, 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 do.
Yes. All right, we are gonna be. Oh, poison ivy. Let's go. With
There you go.
Poison Ivy. Fighters approaching Red Sun Prison.
Poison Ivy, another character who's all about controlling the screen and zoning around and everything.
See if I can figure her out.
Yeah, it's been forever since I played Atrocitus. I will also need to figure him out. It's so nice we're all on the same playing field. That's really good.
Yes, I definitely do not know what I'm doing, but that's okay. What's up,
We
White
equally
Owl? Thanks for stopping by. We're hanging out with Joel right now. Kate Joel.
Oh, that's
He
my
is
name.
my comic book guru.
Aw, thank you.
Check him out. Check him out. We did some comic book talk earlier. Got to know Joel, and now we playing some Injustice 2.
We surely are. This was a great week to have me on too, because it's what is it? This month went long, and usually when months go long for comic book releases, they usually you'll have like 1 week at the end of the month, one Wednesday, when there's like really slim pickings, or they'll do what they did this month and it will all be annuals.
Gotcha.
So I don't have as much to do this week, so I'm trying to use the opportunity to do other side project stuff, like come on and chat with you guys. I did that little look at indie comics on my channel, and I'm actually going to try and do a complete story for Bats Out of Hell,
Oh,
because
awesome.
I didn't cover that one when it was coming out, because it was a big crossover in books that I don't normally read. But I bought them and I collected them, and now I'm going to do a whole big thing on them. Probably when I'm done here, I'm going to go and edit that up and everything.
So, if you were telling someone about Poison Ivy and they'd never heard anything about her before, what would you want to get across to them?
She's an interesting character. She's a villain, but depending on who writes her, some writers very much sympathize with her view of the environment and everything, so much to the point in recent years they've softened her to the point where she's almost not even really a villain anymore. She's more of like a complicated anti-hero.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like everyone remembers her as being like, oh yeah, she's one of the main Batman antagonists. Yeah, not really. Her friendship with Harley Quinn is also quite interesting, that she has like this big sister, confidant, sometimes more, again, depending on who writes it, relationship. And because they've softened Harley so much and turned her into so much of an anti-hero, Poison Ivy got very much the same treatment, to where, yeah, she's barely a villain anymore.
Gotcha.
Which is cool, and I think that speaks to something. I don't know who I'm paraphrasing here, but someone said, the strongest, most well-defined female characters in Marvel are more often than not members of the X-Men. And in DC Comics, some of their strongest, most well-defined female characters are often villains. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of fair. Talia al Ghul, Catwoman, Poison Ivy.
Yeah, that's very true. I hadn't thought about it like that.
And that's just Batman.
Jay, are you sneaking back in front of me?
Yes.
All right.
Sneaking hard.
I can't see you, but you are stepping on things that you can't step on. Toes and cords. Watch the toes and cords, Jay.
Yeah, when I knew we were
graceful.
when I knew we were going to be playing this game, I literally for a second thought where it's like, oh, should I drop some money and like actually get some of the new DLC characters, because I haven't played Red Hood or Black Manta or Starfire or any of those.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
Your mic just a little bit, Annie.
That was my mic low.
Just a little bit.
Excuse
And
me.
I got Joel up just a little bit loud, but it's not bad. I was listening to it on my phone.
See, Wise Owl. Harley Quinn, best creation out of the animated Batman series of the 90s. I loved her in
she
that.
really is.
I loved her in that. So do you have a particular author that you gravitate towards?
I have like a couple that I really enjoy. There's definitely some that I will read what they're doing absolutely regardless. Gail Simone is one. She wrote Secret Six. She wrote Batgirl in the New 52. What is it? Judd Winnick wrote probably some of my favorite Green Arrow stories. Yet interestingly, he doesn't really write superhero comics anymore. He's kind of gone to other fields now, which is sad. I wish he would come back, Judd Winnick. Garth Ennis, of course, wrote some of my favorite Punisher stories. He also doesn't write comic books near as much anymore, but they get him back every so often. Jimmy Palmiotti, there's another guy. He often works with his wife and frequent art collaborator. He was the one. Yeah, he was the one who was writing the Harley Quinn book just recently. They're finishing their run because they've been writing it for like ever now, and they're like, well, as much as we enjoy this, we'd like to go do other things, please. Yeah, they're a cool team. Ben Percy right now, of course, who's writing Green Arrow and Teen Titans. He's really good. I dig him. Ooh, G. Willow Wilson, who does the new Miss Marvel. She's really good because she does something that so few writers, I think, are able to accomplish, and that is she really captures the voice of young people without sounding condescending to them.
That's awesome.
Mainly because I think she's young anyway. I think she's about my age. She's not that old.
That often helps, though. Letting new blood
does.
come in can speak to a whole new audience.
Oh, absolutely. I think she is. She's got a really rare talent with that one. And it helps, too, that she's really only writing Miss Marvel right now. A lot of comic book writers, just to make ends meet, have to pull double and triple duty.
Well, how many books do you think Bendis is going to take over in the first year?
Oh, at least 5. I mean, that's his golden number. I mean, yeah, he's going to do all those things. Man, that's probably like, if you were to like hold me down and say, what were the biggest comic book news stories of 2017 as we near the end of this year? I mean, I don't think you're going to find anything to top that. Brian Michael Bendis leaving Marvel for DC.
I was shocked. He left Kitty Pryde. I didn't know he could do that.
He did. Apparently he did. Apparently he did.
I was so surprised by that.
Yeah, when I read that, I was shocked. I was like, but Brian Michael Bendis is basically Marvel right now.
Yeah, he really has. But I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an elaborate troll. I'm like, this is an Onion article. Someone's messing with me. No.
If you read one of Rob's tweets, you know, kind of like all of his Fantastic Four tweets that he tweets every now and then, you would have thought, oh, it's fake. Rob tweeted it.
Yes, that's absolutely. I woke up late in the day that day. I saw Rob talking. I'm like, stop lying, Rob. Come on. No one even buys these anymore. What are you? Oh my God, he's telling the truth. What insane, like that, like, you know how people say, like, oh, you know, when hell freezes over, that was a hell freezes over type scenario is what that was.
Shocked by it. Wise Owl. For the life of me, I don't know why DC comic writers just don't write the movie script. I know, right? 2 different departments, but I feel that.
Exactly. It's a 2 different department thing, and believe it or not, there's a lot of animosity in entertainment between people who write different disciplines, where, you know, movie writers are like, oh, why should I listen to him? He writes comic books. And like TV writers are like, oh, why should I listen to him? He writes comic books. And the movie is like, why should I listen to the TV writer? It's a whole thing.
But if you can figure it out, bring the 2 together.
That's
amazing films.
That's why guys like Jeff Johns are so integral and so important right now, because he's a guy who started off in movies, is the thing, before he did comics, and he has contacts, and he can, like, you know, work his way around. He can kind of be a man of 2 worlds.
Yeah.
Joe Quesada, very similarly as well, you know, when he helped revitalize Marvel back in the early 2000s with Marvel Knights and everything, he got in AAA talent from people who didn't normally write comics, like from movies and television and everything.
Well, yeah, didn't I think Joe Quesada and Kevin Smith did a run on Daredevil together?
They sure did. Also, too, Joe Quesada, just to bring it back to everything I was saying there, Joe Quesada's number 2 man during that time was Jimmy Palmiotti.
Oh.
And I'm always a fan of his, and he never gets his due, where it's like, you know, oh yeah, Joe Quesada, he revitalized Marvel, he did this, that, and the other. I'm like, hey, friggin' Palmiotti was there, too. Maybe I have sympathy for him, because I always feel like I'd be one of those guys historically, where it's like, oh yeah, and Joel was there, too. I was there. I was super there. Oh man, someone's really good with Black Canary. I can never get her moves to work.
Oh, and we did switch back to me, so.
Oh yeah, this is
I
not
thought
me.
so.
But I'm
We
spamming
only
the.
just switched, but
I was spamming the same move though. It's not skill.
Hey, it's a good move if you can make it work. There we go. That's what I wanted.
but also once I figure out a move, I just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Time to clip your
Like, I need the
wings.
muscle memory.
While your fingers
Remember.
are enough.
Talking about DC female characters who aren't even villains anymore. That's the same deal with Cheetah. They did a whole long story in Wonder Woman where she's actually like friends to Wonder Woman now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I really hope they use her in the second Wonder Woman movie.
Oh, they have to. She's the one villain everyone knows that's
Yeah.
not Ares. She's the one. Actually, hey, I think it would be cool if they moved up the timetable to World War II and be like, oh yeah, she's what is it? She was an occult scientist who was kidnapped by the Nazis because the real life Nazis were super into occult stuff, and they wanted to weaponize the what is it, Cheetah totem or whatever, but she ended up taking the power for herself, and so Wonder Woman had to stop her. That's my pitch.
That would be awesome.
Also, too, if you move up the timetable to World War II, you can use all the fun, like, Golden Age World War II characters who don't get seen anymore, like Sergeant Rock and the Howling Commandos and the War Wheels and everything. Oh, that was so close.
Very close. GG
Good match.
That was good. Man, who haven't we seen yet? Who haven't we played as yet? I think we've worked our way through the whole roster almost.
I think so. It really makes me want to go check out. How much is that download to get the?
They are $7.99 individually. Well, that's $7.99 Canadian. I don't know what that comes out to in American. And then I don't know how much it is for the actual fighter packs.
See, I like to wait till after Christmas to buy all my fighter packs when everybody's prices drops on all the games that came out halfway through 2017.
Absolutely, me too. I picked up that new Doom on Black Friday sale because I had never played it before, and I'm like, oh, this will be a fun one to stream because I can have the chat open and there's not a lot of story stuff that'll get in the way.
Yeah.
Well, that one would probably get flagged if you streamed it on YouTube with all the swastikas and whatnot.
Oh, not Wolfenstein, Doom.
Oh, yeah, I'm
But it's
mixed them up.
it's made by the same company and they're basically the same game in a lot of ways. So I mean, can't blame you. I do want to play the new Wolfenstein though. I didn't play the first one. I didn't play the New Order, but since I heard such great things about Wolfenstein 2, their New Colossus, I definitely want to check it out.
That's Cyborg? You playing a Cyborg?
Yep.
He looks
That's the Grid skin for Cyborg. That's his evil Earth 3 counterpart.
He looks awesome.
He does.
Tell me about Earth 3 Cyborg.
Earth 3 is where the crime syndicate of America lives. They're the evil, cracked mirror universe version of the Justice League.
Okay.
So instead of Superman, you have Ultraman. Instead of Flash, you have Johnny Quick. And instead of Cyborg, you have Grid.
The Mirrorverse. They all need the evil Spock mustaches.
Yeah, that's basically all they're missing is evil Spock mustaches.
Have you checked out the new Star Trek series?
I have not, although I have hilariously watched a lot of the Orville, and I'm enjoying the Orville.
The Orville
We are
is
too.
So much fun.
It's like, I remember, I turned around on the Orville so hard because I watched the first episode, and I'm like, oh great, here we go, Seth MacFarlane getting to play dress up again, like he did in A Million Ways to Die in the West. He gets to, play Captain Kirk Spaceman like he played Cowboy, and it's going to be a whole show about how great he is and how amazing he is. And the first episode, I was kind of right. Then episode 2 came along, and they actually started focusing on other characters on the ship, and they were really interesting and really funny. I'm like, oh, I think I like this show now.
Yeah, it
And-
really has a Star Trek: The Next Generation feel
Yeah.
to it.
It does.
Very-
It even has,
very
morals
Roddenberry.
of the story. I love that
Yes.
they do get a little gritty there. And
They do.
dig
That's
it.
my favorite thing about it. Like, what is it? Those episodes they did talking about Bortus and talking about the Krill and everything. I'm like, oh, this is stuff Roddenberry would have written back in the day.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. I
Like,
love it
it's
so
so much better than it had any right to be with that first episode, and I'm glad I came back for episode 2.
much. Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun.
It
don't
is.
want it to go away.
Well, here's the thing. They've already greenlit it for a season 2, so already
Perfect.
it's doing a million times better than most science fiction shows on Fox normally do.
Yes.
And all it took was for the Family Guy guy to make it.
Well, lucky for us, he's such a massive Star Trek fan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was concerned about it being just like some fan fiction,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's one of my favorite Star Trek shows right now.
I know. You know what else also probably helps out a ton? He uses his clout and his fame and his money and everything to get actual people who directed actual episodes of like Next Generation and
they've
Old
had-
Trek to come into direct. Like Jonathan Frakes directed an episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did Robert Duncan McNeil.
Dark side.
He's had, they've got, who else? I know it was Brian Fuller? Somebody is a showrunner that was also a showrunner back for Next Generation. So it's working
Yeah,
out
they get
great.
some amazing directors, which is like, wow, no wonder it feels like Trek. They got guys who directed real Trek.
They got it. It's great. It's great.
Man, what a great time to be a nerd. We got all these superhero movies, we got 2 Star Trek-like shows, and a new Star Wars coming out at the end of the month.
Once you get around to Discovery, they hit that one out the park. It is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I
Fighters
was
approaching Red
totally
Sun
put off
prison.
by having to spend even more money on a whole other streaming service, CBS, for one show. Worth it. Take my money, CBS. Worth it.
We're all gonna have to be spending more money on streaming services now, especially because DC is doing one for their new Titan show in season 3 of Young Justice.
Yeah.
Begin.
Yep.
But
At least Young Justice is happening again.
I know, right?
So
At
happy
least.
for that. And I'm really excited for Titans.
Same. I didn't know what to think of it. Then I saw the what is it? That picture they had of the guy who's gonna be Robin, and I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah,
Robin
it
looks like Robin.
It looks fantastic.
That's all I can ask for, especially because as much as I like those CW superhero shows, and I do enjoy most of them, there is a problem of like, oh, Flash finally looks like Flash. Well, that only took 3 seasons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if DC goes as hard as CBS did on production value, Star Trek Discovery, the production value and the
Beautiful.
acting is Game of Thrones quality. It's
It's a beautiful looking
fantastic.
show.
This show could easily be on HBO. If DC does that with Titans, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, they put some money behind that one.
Plus, it's Titans. I've been waiting for DC to get in on some live-action Titans or Teen Titans. The age range is right.
It really is.
Young adults and people starting out with their families right now.
Oh,
they
yeah.
grew up with the Teen Titans.
They really did. Now is the perfect time to strike.
Yeah.
Heck, what is it? I haven't had a chance to watch The Runaways yet, but everyone I hear who really loves The Runaways are exactly like you said. Younger people who grew up in that era of Marvel and remembers these like young adult takes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd never read The Runaways before they announced the series, and then I went and read the first volume, and now that watching the show, I'm like, man, this
It's
is
good.
one of the best. Taking the comic book material and putting it on the screen, this is one of the best ever. I mean, every character looks like they did in the comic. It's the reverse of how it normally happens. They actually make the characters in the show look like the comic book instead of next volume. All the comic book characters look like the kids from the show.
The worst thing you can say about Runaways is that it picked probably the most unfortunate time to come out, sandwiched right between Justice League and The Punisher. I feel like it got lost in the conversation, and it got buried, and it's like, oh, that's a shame.
It's unfortunate. It's a really fun show. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot more than I enjoyed Justice League.
I'm gonna watch that one next. That's the next one on my thing. Also, I'm probably gonna watch it tonight with dinner, but I haven't watched what is it? The new Agents of Shield yet, but I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was fun.
There's just so much these days.
It is.
Yeah, and you gotta watch content, read content, and then make your own content.
It's
It's gotta be
true.
harder and harder to find time to do it all.
Aquaman.
I mean, hey, I can't complain about it because it's like, that means I'm gonna keep having stuff to talk about, and I can keep working for the foreseeable future.
Wonder
I'm
Woman.
loving it right now. All my favorite types of comic books are now shows, but I have no time. Gotta make the time.
And
This has been a great year for us, especially in TV. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed Legion.
Fighters
The
approaching
Gifted has
Gotham
been
City.
fun.
Gifted has been fun, and I talked so much shit about Gifted before it started. I was so happy to be proven wrong. Where it's like, oh no, wait, this is actually quite nice.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it.
Failed the regime.
and I like that they're branching off into
Must be the Bens.
creating different genres of content within the comic book continuity, like Logan,
Absolutely.
a serious,
Yes.
hard-hitting drama.
Oh, yeah.
Then you've got New Mutants coming out, which is going to be a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what's best for Fox and the X-Men at this point, where it's like, look, we don't really know what we're doing with the main franchise. That's kind of up in the air. But people like Deadpool and they liked Logan, and those were kind of like, genre stews.
Yeah.
So, let's keep doing this.
And
Whatever
even,
that
even within
James-
the Marvel movies, they've done it a little bit. Like Ant-Man was a heist movie.
Yes, it was.
You've had Thor's kind of your buddy cop movie with
Yeah.
Thor and Hulk. So
Guardians is a space opera.
yeah.
Iron Man is like, Iron Man and Captain America, they're like, tech thriller spy movies.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, like, when people say, what do you think, Joel, is the success of these Marvel movies? It's that they play with the genre.
Yeah.
It's not just we got a bad guy, we got to go stop the bad guy. Let's use this person to go do it.
And let's actually, like, borrow some cinematic language from the movies that, are inspiring this, or the types of movies that we're doing. That's always good. Like, hey, Christmas is coming up, and I'm going to watch Iron Man 3 again, because it's a Christmas movie.
Exactly.
Like, I wish more...
It's a great way to pull new audiences in.
Oh, yeah.
My sister's not really in. One of my sisters isn't really into the whole superhero genre. She loves comedies though. And
Yeah.
Thor just came out. She's like, I like Chris Hemsworth, but I don't like superheroes. I'm like, no, go at it, go see it, and think of it as a comedy or a buddy cop movie. And she's like, oh, okay, and she loved it.
And I
So-
think most people do, and I think that's the secret to their success. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, and so by making them be like, hey, come to this, you're gonna have a good time. Comic fans, there'll be references and stuff in there for you, and for, everyday people, for the noobs, as they say, you'll have a good time too. Everyone will have a good time.
Well, yeah, and after Thor: The Dark World, I mean, they just so stepped up their game with the new
They
Thor
did.
movie.
Most successful Thor movie to date, made more than the other two put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, deservedly.
Yes.
I think it was a fantastic movie.
Because the first
Oh, yeah.
one had a few corny moments, and it was still a good movie. I liked it. But it was neither one of them were anything that compared to this movie.
I actually really like Thor 1. It's probably, as weird as it sounds, is probably my favorite. Phase 1, but only because I think it's as close as we'll ever get to like a live action He-Man movie, because that's
Yes.
totally what it was. He was so He-Man the whole way. I have the power. I don't think they expected Loki to be as popular as he was. Tom Hiddleston just took over the world after that one.
Yeah. Do you think that they even really meant to do as much with him as they did? But it was this popularity is why we got him. He became the main Marvel villain, with the exception of Thanos, basically.
I think he did that all on his own. I think he hijacked the whole thing. I think he stole the show. And yeah, I think he made that his own way.
Well, he's
All right.
been a great addition. He's been
He really has been.
so key. Feels so like such a pivotal role.
Definitely. So I don't think I played Superman yet. I think by the time I play Superman, I've played everyone on the roster.
Well, hey.
There you
Sweet.
go.
That's what everybody looks like in the game.
Well, I know you're on the East Coast, and I know you said something about food a little while ago. If you get hungry and need to go, all you got to do is say, "Hey, man, I'm out."
Okay, tell you what, we'll play this match, and then I probably should get going because I do gotta render a video and I do gotta make some food. But I am so thankful you guys had me on. I had a great time, and we'll make this match a good one.
For sure.
Thank you so
And
much
hey,
for
if you
coming.
ever need somebody to play a game with over on your channel, you just let us know.
I will
I'm always
keep
down
you
to
in
try.
mind.
I noticed, like you said, you played Doom, and I was looking through the roster of some of your games. Not necessarily games I play or have, but I'm always down to try a new game.
Absolutely. Well, I'll definitely keep that one in mind because, there's totally a bunch of like online stuff coming out that I would love to have a regular group of people to help out in. Like, what is it? When Red Dead 2 eventually comes
Oh
out.
yeah, now that one I'm definitely going to be on. So.
Sweet. Good to know. Because you just know they're going to take the crew system from Grand Theft Auto 5, and that's going to be a thing now only in the Wild West.
Oh yeah, and Grand Theft Auto, even though it's been out, what, 4, maybe 5 years now?
Something like that.
I started playing it on PlayStation 3 before the PlayStation 4 was even out.
Me too. Me too.
And I still play it on a regular basis, even the newer updates, like when they added the racing and the stunt jump competitions earlier this year. It's just so amazing.
I was one of those people where it's like, man, I would like to complain that they never did any more story content for the game, but at the same time, it's like, wow, they've given us all this online content completely free.
Yeah, I don't think there's been another game that's probably provided that much playability and just go back and play it after you've picked it up in 6 months, and there's always something new.
It really is.
All the races and all the jumps.
New weapons, new everything.
There's so much with that game.
Again, it's like I could complain about the lack of story content, but hey, it's they did what they did, and they did it quite well. Now, I wonder if they do another Red Dead, or when they do the other Red Dead, if they're going to do another zombie spin-off like they did. Because I think, like, what is it, Undead Nightmare sold, because they, like, you could buy it as DLC, but they also packaged it on its own. I think that one sold almost as many as the OG one did. Oh, this is close. Oh, this is gonna be close. Oh.
I couldn't get my balls of doom out after you.
Yeah. Now, you think I'd be better with Superman? What is it? He's only like, the Ken or Ryu of this franchise.
Surprise!
He's the Dan. Some people will get that reference. Some people will not.
Oh, kids,
Oh well.
look it up.
I got to.
It's a good one.
I got to end on a big note. I got to end on a victorious note. I hope you guys are happy. I was ready to put Injustice down, but now that I've played it with you tonight, I might have fallen back into it. So thanks, guys.
I'm thinking I gotta go get some more gear too.
I gotta gain some skill.
we all won a bunch of gear, so like when I'm done, I'm gonna go be like, oh, what gear did I win? And also too, I've seen the DLC characters, and I'm like, oh, Christmas is coming. I really should I buy gifts for people, or should I buy Black Manta?
I need the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me on.
Thank you for being on. We really appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out so long, playing games with us, and. If you ever need somebody to help you out, as far as needing a teammate, you just let us know. We'll be here for you.
You might not be great, but we'll do it.
That's fine. I'm not great either. This is perfect. I found people my skill level. This is exactly what I need.
Yes. Hey, that's what we're all about. You don't have to be good. You have to have fun.
No, you might die a lot, but you just respawn and do it again.
every death is a chance to learn.
Exactly. That's how I look at it. So I learn a lot.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll hit you up later, and also too, when this is done, be sure to send me a link to it after it's rendered and everything when it's re-uploaded, and I'll share it around on all my social media so people can come and see it.
Definitely.
For sure, Joel. We'll definitely do that. Thank you so much. You have a great night, man.
Too, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So guys, that was Caped Joel. He's one of the awesomest streamers that we've been watching for a few years. Yeah, like I said, he's our comic book guru. We love him. We love him. We get all of our comic updates and news from him. And he was awesome enough to stop by and hang out with us tonight. So, how excited are we? That was some Injustice 2 gameplay. I learned a lot tonight. So yeah, definitely check him out. He's got channels on YouTube, and on Twitch, right?
Yeah, he just got partnered on Twitch, so you guys be sure and check him out. His YouTube channel, he uses for all his video on demand content, movie reviews, TV reviews, comic book reviews. talk opinion about the latest news, and it's a wealth of knowledge over there on that channel. I mean, when I'm behind on comic books, and if I just want to find out what's new and what's happening, I go to Cape Joel. He does several shows, so even on other channels as well. So, but you can find all the links to that over on his channel. We've been putting the link in there. It'll also be in the show notes down below.
Yep.
But guys, I think we're gonna call it a night. Maybe we'll come back in a little while. Yeah.
Annie kind of wants to get her PUBG on.
I gotta switch a few things around because of the controllers.
PUBG on in like a couple of hours, I guess.
Yeah, we'll come back and do a late night stream tonight. We'll do that about
pew pew, shoot some things up.
About 10 p.m. and maybe we'll play with some other streamers and play with you guys.
Maybe even have a drink or two Saturday night.
Yep.
You guys want to do it? You guys want to drink with Annie? Annie drinks a lot. Jay's like, that's just real life.
Yeah, that's just how it is. But
I'm
guys,
gonna do it with you tonight.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Cape Joel interview.
Yeah,
and
Joel,
playing some Injustice 2. We learned so much about comics tonight, even stuff that, as a comic book reader myself, when you talk to Joel, you learn so much more.
Oh yeah, and I still can't believe Joel stopped by. I'm super grateful. Before we go, we've got, if you check in every week with us, you know that we've been doing this every Saturday. We have a guest on and we interview them, and we've been trying to see if we can contact people that we feel are a little above our pay grade. And several of them are saying yes. So we've got more interviews like Joel's coming up. We've got some people from Twitch, some people from Mixer, some more people from YouTube. It's going to be a lot of fun in the next couple of months.
And after the first of the year, guys, since we've enjoyed doing this so much, and you guys have shown us a lot of support while we're doing it, we're expanding our interviews to Friday and Saturdays. Mm-hmm. Not just Saturdays. We're going to do it on Friday and Saturdays.
That's right. We've got some exciting people coming up. We even have some Disney Channel stars coming that are going to stop by for an interview. I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah,
but they said yes.
From the Disney Channel and the Twitch channel, The Attack, we've got Alex Correa coming through in January. We've got Anti-Tinkerbell from Mixer coming through. And we've got a whole list of other surprise guests.
Yeah.
We're going to get MASH stars back in here. We don't have a date set up with him yet, but
I think he's going to wind up being our Matt Damon, y'all.
Yeah.
Every time we want him. But no, it's exciting, y'all. We got some really fun interviews set up. And we're so excited to share some of our favorite people with you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by.
You guys have a great night. You guys are the awesomest.
Yes.
We'll see y'all in a little while.
Bye.
If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And catch us live Monday through Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for gaming, nerd news, and comics. Follow us on Twitter at Annie and J Die for all the latest updates on the channel. Hope you have the awesomest day. Bye.